Getting involved with your partner financially might seem like a good idea. You're in love, you've got a double income, you're building a shared nest. What could possibly go wrong? Well, if the relationship breaks down, you could be left with much more than a broken heart. Here's how the hit show How I Met Your Mother dealt with the common problem of sexually transmitted debt.
The next day, Lily and Marshall went to the mortgage broker to get a loan.
Hey, yes, but since you're a married couple, you'll be applying for a joint loan, so...
Well, can we just go ahead and do it in my husband's name? He's the head of the household. He earns the big bucks. I mean, can women even own property?
Let's see what kind of rate I can get you to.
6%. Under 6%. Under 6%, please.
There we go. Congratulations. You have been approved for a loan at 18%.
No, that can't be right. You know?
You have quite a bit of debt.
My student loans. Great. You know what? It's fine to penalize me for trying to get an education and build a career, but I will not let you deprive my beautiful wife of her dream home just because I...
Okay, actually, it's because of your wife's credit card debt.
Oh, my God.
Marshall, there's something I have to tell you, and I want you to hear it from me first.
Most banks don't have an accompanying soundtrack, but they can be just as scary. For more on this, we're joined by family lawyer Fiona Reid and the editor of Smart Investor magazine, Nicole Pedersen-McKinnon. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Fiona, let's start with you. If you've signed your name as the guarantor of a loan, for example, and your relationship or your marriage breaks down, as quite often happens, and it might not just be the partner who's signed, it might be the mother-in-law or the father-in-law or something, what sort of remedy do you have, if any?
Clearly you'll be liable for the debt, but if your relationship does break down, you can enter into some orders that reassigns the debt, if you like, to one of the parties. What's really important to do in that instance is to not just accept an indemnity from the person who's taking on the debt or a promise that, yeah, I'll pay that debt, I'm good for it. You really need to make sure that that debt is refinanced into that person's sole name so that you're discharged from that liability going forward.
In order to reassign that debt, do both parties have to agree to that?
That's right. So you would have to do that by way of some sort of court order.
Yeah. So in case of an acrimonious dissolution of the relationship, you're really relying on the courts to do that.
Absolutely, you'd have
so you
to.
want to be very careful before you get into it in the first place.
Definitely. So the advice would be before you agree to take on that liability, before you guarantee any debt, you need to take advice and think about what ramifications that will have for you in the future, and make sure that there is enough property, perhaps outside of your own property, to be able to cover that debt if necessary.
Gotcha. How about credit cards? Is this a common area for sexually transmitted debt?
It certainly is. Many of us live beyond our means and we rely on credit card debt for that purpose in a lot of instances. If your marriage breaks down and that credit card debt has arisen as a consequence of money you've spent for the family, then you're both going to be liable for that debt when the marriage breaks down. Where it becomes tricky is if after your separation one of the partners has accrued credit card debt as a consequence of perhaps going on holidays or entertaining a new partner, going out to dinner, buying jewellery. Then it would really be up to the lawyers or up to you to persuade the other side why you wouldn't then be liable, why you would take on that debt alone.
Well, quite often the source of breakdown in the relationship is the same source as the debt, for example, with gambling problems.
Absolutely.
And things, Nicole, what are the best ways for couples then to be ensuring that their debt is always at the utter minimum?
Yeah, we think about compatibility from so many different angles, don't we? We think about outlook and kids and where you want to live, but not many of us think about finances, and they estimate that really 40 to 60% of marriage breakdowns are because of money.
Wow.
So it's really important to establish at the outset your attitude to money and make sure that you are on the same page. You need to sit down and have that chat about exactly what it is that you want to achieve with your money, because as a couple you do have this economy of scale, if you like, where you split your bills, you split your accommodation costs. So your money can go further. So if you are on the same page about what you want to do with that money, you can really achieve great things. So start that conversation early rather than down the track when it's going to get potentially very problematic.
I guess that goes for all financial conversations. I mean, another one about when you die, for example, and the kind of debts you might leave your estate and your partner looking after.
Yeah, that's right. It's part of the whole big picture about, making sure that everyone has access to the money, that everyone knows the PIN numbers. You can get money if the other person weren't around for whatever whatever reason, and that everyone is protected. Very important for women in particular to make sure that they keep looking after themselves and maintain some level of independence.
All right, Fiona, Nicole, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Be aware, be alert, prepare early. I think that's the message, Mel.
Be alert, but not alarmed. Thank you, Andrew.